Hi everybody, Levi Clay here, and I'm back for what will hopefully be my last ever studio build update. I will do an actual run through video and some soundproofing tests for you so you can really see how effective this has been, but we are done. The guitars are finally on the wall, and I thought this was a perfect opportunity to tell you exactly how I mounted these fixtures and to tell you about these hangers that I use and love. So this video is brought to you by my friends over at Hercules. This wasn't a paid video or anything, but I have used these particular hangers for many years. They sent me some new ones that I could put up, and I really appreciate that. These are the best hangers in the business as far as I'm concerned. If you're unfamiliar, I mean, I used these in my last studio. There is nothing better. This sits on the wall, the guitar comes into place, and when it sits down, those front parts lock in place, so there is nothing that is going to allow your guitar to fall forward. Now, while the design of the Hercules stands is absolutely flawless, that doesn't mean that your guitar is 100% safe when one of these is on the wall, and that's not because of the unit, but that's because of user error in installing these hangers on the wall. Now, it's worth mentioning that, of course, 95% of installs of these hangers are going to be absolutely fine with the fixtures that come with the hanger. Absolutely fine, especially if you're screwing into any sort of solid wall. Your standard wall plugs are going to do an absolutely fine job. Nothing to worry about. I'm not saying that you're going to have problems, but for those of you that have followed this studio build from day one, you'll know that this is a very interesting build. We're currently sat inside a large brick garage, and then inside of that garage I have built an isolated room within that room. And in order to do that, I have, well, the brick walls of the garage, then there's insulation, stud walls, and then hanging off of those stud walls on isolation clips are 2 layers of extra thick acoustic rated drywall, gyprock. And between those 2 layers is a layer of mass loaded vinyl. So what you can see from the clip on screen now is that the walls around me are actually extremely thick. So when it comes to mounting things on these, there are a lot of things to consider. My concern when installing these walls is I very quickly realized that this acoustic gyprock is quite crumbly. It's definitely quite crumbly. You can snap it very easily, and if too much force is exerted on it, if you were to hit it with a hammer, for example, it would definitely crack and begin to crumble. That is not an ideal situation to be drilling holes and putting in your standard wall plugs. Of course, you could give it a go, but I wouldn't risk it with my extremely valuable collection of guitars. So when it came to putting up the GIK panels, what I used were these dial toggle mounts, these spring-loaded toggle fixings. And these are absolutely fantastic. Bring these up. If I spin the packet around, you'll get an idea of how these work. They push through the hole, and when they do, it springs open, and you have this thick piece of metal now behind the wall that won't pull through again. So very effective, and as you begin to tighten the screw, that gap decreases and it really hugs onto the wall. Excellent design, and they did an absolutely fine job with the GIK panels. When it came to hanging my guitars though, well, there was a little bit of a problem. I know that the walls are probably about 3 inches thick. Cool, fine, we can work with that. But when you introduce the thickness of the Hercules hanger into that equation, suddenly I'm looking at these fixtures and I'm asking myself, well, is 90mm gonna be enough? When I look at the notes on this, it says that 55mm is the maximum thickness of the wall. And when you factor in the thickness of the current wall plus that Hercules hanger, there's no chance these were going to do the job. So how the hell was I going to get around this? Well, what I ended up doing was essentially recycling these completely. I took the original toggle fixings and unscrewed the actual spring-loaded part and threw the rest away. I then imported these very cool shafts from China. Because I knew that these screws are M4 90mm, I just replaced that particular part of the component with M4s, but these are 120mm. So this is giving me a lot more play. Now, what you can tell from these is there's no end on it though, right? I can't screw this into place. So our solution here, as you can see on screen now, was these dome-headed screws, these dome-headed nuts, I should say, sorry, and we secured these in place using some 2700 Loctite thread locker. These, in theory, once these nuts are in place, should hold these in place so they will take a lot of force to undo. It's kind of like a glue almost, if you like. You could think of it like that. Now when I actually turn these threads, what you're going to find is they will actually grip onto the toggle on the other side. And as you can see on screen now, there is definitely a difference in size, and this gave me a lot of confidence because now I was going to be able to really put these through the hangers and know that they are going to get through the walls. I mean, hell, take a look at the picture here of the guitar mount with these toggle fixings. They really stick out a long way behind the particular unit, and some might call that overkill, but as I say, if you're hanging some expensive guitars, you want to make sure that nothing is going to pull those down off the walls. So from there, it was a case of simply, well, drilling holes in the walls. Now, measure twice, cut once, and make sure you have the right tools for the job. For these particular mounts, these M4 90mm, or well, it's the M4, the M4 toggle, spring-mounted toggle thing. I'm just using words at this point, right? You need a 14mm drill bit, which is actually bigger than what comes in any of my drill bit kits. So I went out and I got myself the correct drill bit, and then it was a case of simply drilling those holes in the walls. Now, this was easy because the walls are quite chalky. You can get through those quite easily. Then it's a case of essentially just placing those guitar hangers through the walls. Nothing too difficult here. A little bit of force needed to force those mounts through, but once they're through, it's just a case of tightening them up. Now in the video you can see what I'm doing here is I'm doing that by hand, but of course once the system was in place and I knew that this was working, of course I was doing that with a drill. So it became actually a very quick process to get these up, and I'm relatively confident that if I needed to fire another one up, I could have it up in 5 minutes, absolutely no problem. So yeah, what more could you ask for? I'm extremely happy with the results, and we are now in a place where I feel like this could be considered a finished studio. It really has the look. Let me just go around the room now so you can see what's going on. Got several guitars up actually. How many are we looking at? I've got 8 guitars up on the wall, and of course that's never enough. I just got all of my guitars back from my father-in-law's house, and already I've had to decide which ones are staying in the house because there's just not enough room on the walls, and I'm probably having more guitars coming. So if you are going to buy these hangers, make sure you get enough of them. Yeah, lots of guitars, and extremely happy with this project and how this has turned out. So what do you guys think about this particular hanging system? Do you think I've over-engineered this? I will say that I don't think it's possible to over-engineer when you're looking at the safety of your treasured musical instruments, right? But still interested to know what you have to say. And have you tried the Hercules guitar hangers? If you've used anything else, do these appeal to you? Maybe you found something better, but I certainly haven't found it. So do go and check the Hercules guitar hangers out. I'm sure you will enjoy them. Lastly, and it was all coming, big thank you to my supporters over on Patreon. More so now than ever. You guys have stuck with me for the last 6 months since I built this studio. It's been a very, very long time to get this done, though faster than it would have been if I was doing it without everyone's input and support. So thank you for sticking with me through this, and thank you for helping me with all of your advice and of course your financial support. It has been amazing, and I cannot wait to make 2020 the year that I bring you more content than you can ever imagine. Now of course, let's get started with books. Head on over to Amazon, have a look for Levi Clay, and you will find one of my books there. I do have a new one that just came out actually, which is called 100 Slide Licks for Blues Guitar. If that appeals to you, please do check it out. Though of course, as I say, you're going to get a lot more videos from me this year, and I can go back to actually really focusing on writing. So expect some more books soon. Anyway, if you would like to check me out on Patreon, you can do so by clicking this button up here. You can subscribe by clicking this button down here, and you will see 2 more of my videos here and here. As always, thank you so much. I cannot stress this enough. Get involved in that comment section below. You guys are absolutely awesome, and I will see you for another video soon. Goodbye.